Welcome to N News. Let's get started.
Okay, so get this. 7 arrests, more than 150 DNA samples found, and yet 0 jewels have been recovered. The net is absolutely closing in on the Louvre heist suspects, but the biggest question of all is still hanging out there. Where is the 88 million euro treasure? Let's just quickly rewind and look at the crime itself. Because really, to understand how they got caught, we first have to understand how they managed to pull this whole thing off in the first place. At 9:30 in the morning, while the museum was open, by the way, the gang just rolls up in a stolen truck with a mechanical lift. They go right up to a first-floor window, smash their way in, and use power tools to slice open 2 display cases. In less than 8 minutes, they were back down and peeling out on scooters. It was just an incredible display of speed and pure audacity. So, was this the perfect crime? Oh, not even close. For all their high-tech planning and that split-second timing, these thieves made some astonishingly amateur mistakes. In their rush to get out, they got incredibly sloppy. Forensics teams found over 150 different DNA samples. Their genetic fingerprints were literally everywhere, on the smashed display case, on a helmet they dropped, on one of the getaway scooters, and even on a power saw they'd just left at the scene. They were fast, sure, but they were a complete forensic nightmare. Investigators get to work. First, they get a DNA match from one of the getaway scooters. It points them to a 34-year-old Algerian national. Then, another hit. DNA from that smashed display case leads them to a 39-year-old Frenchman who already has a history of theft. And just like that, police had their first 2 concrete links to the gang. And that was the breakthrough they needed. Once they were in custody, the first 2 suspects partially confessed. That admission was enough to crack the case wide open, leading police directly to the 5 other members of the gang. And this is a huge development. We had 2 initial arrests over the weekend, but then a whole series of coordinated raids this past Wednesday brought in 5 more people. Now, these raids netted a guy who investigators are calling a main suspect. And there's a good reason for that. His DNA also places him right at the scene of the crime. And it turns out the police already had him under surveillance. The other 4 people they brought in are being questioned right now, with police hoping they can shed some light on the wider network and the planning behind this whole thing. And the stakes for everyone involved are incredibly high. They're facing some very serious charges: organized theft and criminal conspiracy, and those carry potential prison sentences of up to 15 years. And here's the really tough part of the story right now. Despite the 7 arrests and all the overnight searches that went along with them, not a single piece of the stolen treasure has been recovered. They're still out there somewhere. And this chart really puts the whole situation into perspective. You can see police have made huge progress arresting the suspects, but when it comes to the most critical part, getting those jewels back, they're starting from absolute zero. The gang is being dismantled, but the priceless heritage they stole remains completely lost. This quote really highlights the desperate dilemma that authorities are facing right now. The Paris prosecutor made a public plea, basically confirming what all the experts already know. These items are way too famous to be sold on any market. The real fear now is that the thieves will just break them apart, destroying centuries of history just to sell off the individual stones.